Okay, meeting will come to order for the Town of Rome Ad Hoc Solar Farm Committee. Roll call. Let's start.
Giardino here.
Jeff Weingart here.
Hasdell here.
Jeremy Schmidt.
Lori Pritzel O'Keefe.
Mark Samuelson.
Gary Rattle.
Denise Barker, Donna Hasdell.
And I believe Cindy is running a couple of minutes late, but she will be here. Moving on to certify the posting of the meeting.
I certify that on Thursday, August 21st, 2025, the agenda for the Town of Rome, excuse me, ad hoc committee meeting for Tuesday, August 26th, 2025 was posted at the following locations. Oh, I have a tickle. Excuse me. Posted at the Rome Town Hall, 11:20 a.m. Posted at Quick Trip LLC, 11:26 a.m. Posted at the Nakusa Port Edward State Bank, 11:32 a.m. and emailed to the Wisconsin Rapids Tribune at 3:37.
Thank you. Each of you should have a copy of today's agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the agenda is approved. Next thing is the approval of the August 11 meeting minutes, which you all should have a copy of in front of you. Hopefully, you've all had a few minutes to look over, because I think it didn't get sent out to us. But looking for a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is viewing the signature pages and determination of where to send them.
I've got them all. I didn't bring them, but we're probably over 500 to 600 signatures so far. I'm thinking we keep going through Labor Day and get wherever possible. I understand somebody's been going door to door and been collecting quite a few. Actually, in my mailbox, I noticed a few more of them in there, so probably.
I hit every red light from the Y.
Every red light in Rome?
From Wisconsin Rapids.
Good morning.
I know my friends, because I can come right from the Y to see you like this. Yep. Testing.
Okay, so the next steps, there's a few things that I want to bring up before we open it up to everybody. I want to ask, I know some paperwork has been sent out, for example, the ALJ document. Where are we, Carl, where are we in the process right now with, I know the permit has been filed or hasn't been filed?
Permit was filed April, I believe, April 29th, 27th, somewhere around there. They've got 12 months. Again, according to Stan, our attorney, he said we probably got till November to come up with reasonable cause or something along that line. There was another notice sent out, and I think everybody might have it. As soon as he announced to the PSC that they were going to represent us and we were going to challenge them, a schedule came out. And I've got to contact him. I figured I'd contact him with what we've gotten done so far, where we're at, and next steps. You'd mentioned about a class action. I'm going to put all that down, see what we can possibly do. But according to that schedule, they have to have a meeting with us now. Whether it's here or down there, I don't know. It's supposed to be a public meeting, but no date and time has been set yet. But it'll probably be down there, and they do have to meet with us, so we'll get a bus going, or at least two of them or something. We'll have to pack it and make sure we get down there.
I also learned that there was an attempt, I don't know where it went, from the Republicans to submit a bill requiring approval of the town or city that these things were proposed to be in. I don't know, and that was like a year ago. I don't know where that went. Does anybody know?
Scott Krug was one of them that initiated that, and it was sitting in committee, and I think it just died in committee at this point.
So it died.
At this point, yes.
Do we have a reason why it died, or did Scott actually come back to us with anything about that?
In so many words, you had to figure it's going to be the lobbyists down there for the solar industry.
That's not good.
You sent a letter to the governor. I saw
I
that.
sent a bunch of letters out.
Well, I saw it. Was that an email or a hard copy?
There's a site on there that goes to the governor's office, and his staff will read it. And I think that's, when I'll get into all this, we got to load that up with this kind of stuff. Send it to the governor. I got a hold of Charlie Barons. I sent him a note.
Who's Charlie Burns?
Manitowoc Minute.
Huh? Manitowoc Minute.
Manitowoc Minute.
He's a comedian.
Yes.
He's coming locally, but he's national, so he could get.
He's from Wisconsin. He's hilarious.
Okay, so what's that got to do with us? He's a comedian.
Anybody want to explain? He did a Manitowoc Minute on the AI data mines that they're forcing into the state, and he's kind of comedic about it, putting the whole thing in there. But you have to watch his video. But he can also do something like that with us for the solar farms if he so wishes.
Bring awareness.
Oh yeah, he's very well known,
Okay.
except by you, I guess.
Okay, the next question I have, I know
I'll get you.
Lori sent to us, if you guys may or may not have read it, I've been reading everything, and my God, there's a lot of stuff to read, but this public servants, you want to tell everybody what this is about or what it means for us?
Is that about
The ALJ,
the chicken?
the administrative law judge, no, this is not the chicken, this is us. This is ours.
No, I don't think I sent that to you.
Somebody sent this to me. It basically was it's not a decision, but it's the administrative law judge, having received this. This is a whole bunch of pages. I thought it came from you. Maybe not.
Well, it had to do with the prairie chicken land in the town of Grant.
That I know all about, which I'm
Okay.
going to talk about in a second here, real
Yeah.
quick. But okay, this is us, and it's basically the scheduling order. So this, I believe that this details how this thing is going to go. If you don't have it, I'll try to forward it to everybody, but it's a lot of reading. And the last thing that I wanted to make everybody aware of, a member of my church, Kathy Lee, is on the planning commission for the town of Grant. So I spoke with her Sunday about this, and she sent me a lot of documents. But I want to read something to you because this was extremely disheartening for me to read because it just goes to show you what we are fighting. So this particular, there's a couple of, and I believe I sent this on to everybody. I know I did. I forwarded it on. If you didn't read it, you should open up the documents and read them. But this is the part I want you to know about. So in other words, the Wisconsin Wildlife Federation took on the PSC in favor of the prairie chickens. The prairie chickens in the town of Grant and the surrounding areas. And what happened was, and I'm going to read this to you, it's not that long. So in February, Wisconsin Wildlife Federation filed an appeal in Columbia County Circuit Court aimed at overturning or modifying the PSC's decision. The group's aim was to force better protection for prairie chickens, a species categorized as threatened by the state. And we talked about this a little bit earlier, if we could find bats, skinks, whatever the case that might be threatened by this thing. The greatest concentration of grassland birds live in the Buena Vista State Wildlife Area in Portage County. So I'm going to skip ahead a couple of paragraphs. On Monday, Doral Renewables and the Wisconsin Wildlife Federation announced a settlement agreement under which the conservation group would withdraw its appeal pending approval from the Public Service Commission. Why? Here it comes. The agreement sets aside 750 acres, a whole 750 acres, for prairie chickens. Doral is also committing to making a $1 million contribution to the Wildlife Federation. Don't think that this isn't about money. This is about money, and that is in addition to the $2.1 million that Doral pledged to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. And somebody in this group said that they talked to the DNR, they had no idea about this thing. So I think there's a lot of back and forth there. Money talks. So basically, the way I read this is they got money and a little bit of land to withdraw their appeal. That kind of sucks. That tells you what we're up against here. So all of the stuff that we've talked about here and all of the action items that we've talked about here are important and they're relevant. But at the end of the day, money talks. That's how much money. So there's $3.1 million in their solar farm that they're just giving away. How much money do they have that they can give away $3.1 million?
That come from the government? I mean, where'd they get that money?
From the solar farm company, Doral.
Grants. It's all grants.
Yeah, from the government, yes.
Basically,
Your money.
Yeah.
Correct, correct.
And that's what I was trying to tell everybody earlier on. It was my view, it's just my opinion, that basically they're getting the grants from the federal government, putting it in their pocket to keep it as their profit. They build the solar farm, they sell it to the highest bidder, they make money when they sell it, plus they got the federal money that was supposed to be for us, and it isn't for us. But everybody's doing this.
Like Carl said, if we drag this out long enough, that money will disappear. I mean,
Hopefully.
We don't know.
Starting to disappear, but how much is already in that pot? You know,
Right.
that's the question. I mean,
They don't draw any funds until they break ground. So the grants, they haven't touched any grant money yet, so I did find that out, so.
All right, so this is your meeting. I will shut up now. I wanted to get those things out right off the get-go before we ran out of time, because I think they're relevant to what we're talking about. And Gary wanted to give us a little bit of an update on collecting signatures and what you discovered. So Gary, why don't you grab the mic and let everybody know?
I've been going door to door since Tuesday when we got this paperwork, and I put on a lot of miles. I only had one door slammed in my face, and I had 4 people who didn't want to sign it because they didn't know anything about it. But I was surprised on Tuesday how many people did not know about the solar farm, had no clue. I talked to 4 people who just bought property here who said the real estate agents didn't say anything about it, and they said if they would have known it, they wouldn't have bought here.
They have grounds for a suit.
Right.
It's called failure to disclose.
And
They do.
one guy that would not sign, I talked to him for 45 minutes, and the reason why he wouldn't sign was because there was a possibility if his name was put on here and his boss seen it, he would lose his job. And he said, I got to work 22 more years. And he doesn't work for a solar farm, but he does something with the solar farms. I know where he lives. He don't want his name out there. He told me, we all know the solar farm only produces 3% of the electricity. And he told me that's within the first 2 or 3 years. And after that, he said it's a downhill slide. He said panels get damaged. He said it's like going out and buying a new car. Some of the panels don't even work. And he said there's nobody going around telling these companies they have to pull those bad panels out. There's chemical in them. He said they leak into the ground. He said some of them will sit there for the life of and they just shut that area off. And he said, you don't want a solar farm in your area. And he said, I'm going to ask you one question. Has the solar farm wind things, he's against those also. He said they'd be better than putting in a solar farm because it don't waste the land. But he said, has your electric bill ever gone down? He said, with a solar farm, it's just going to continue going. And he said, it's a moneymaker, and they know it. And he said, after these solar farms start dying, they're still getting paid money. So, and the other thing is when talking to people, which I learned, people that didn't know it, a couple questions was asked, and I couldn't answer it. They wanted to know why our meetings were at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Why couldn't we have a meeting on a Saturday when the part-time people are here most of the time? Because, they said, and other people who work can't come to those meetings. And I just wonder if that ain't why some of our meetings, there aren't enough people here on our side,
Well, they are recorded, so they're available, but I'll come in on a Saturday and just sit here and wait for people to come in.
I drove
don't-
around Saturday, and I did some more signing. I drove by here with the wake boat thing. There was a lot of cars here.
Yeah.
And my feeling is, and a couple other people, older couple I talked, we need to get a letter out to these people, everybody, a property owner, and we have to put on that letter urgent. And we have to set a meeting up before October on a Saturday, before people start leaving, because middle of October, people are gone, and you don't see them until next spring. And we need to do this and have it on a Saturday so we can get people here. And if you put urgent on it, if you don't have something on it, people just set it aside.
Do we have a mail merge file for?
Yes.
that
We have the tax file, so we have all the property owners by tax.
we could just push a button and it goes to everybody that,
Yeah, basically, yeah.
so we just need a pen and letter.
Yeah, and again, we deal with OCD in town, and they have a reduced rate for mass bulk mailing, so.
Does anybody here want to volunteer to write a letter? And then we can wordsmith.
I'm getting pretty good at it. Like, somebody got any
I'm looking at
comments?
you because you did one.
I can, but you gotta give me a couple weeks, because I'm kind of, got a lot of things in
Got a
the
book?
iron right now.
I don't think we have a couple weeks.
I know.
We're looking for someone to pen a letter to the residents of Rome that we could do. I asked if we had a mail merge file in other words, you push a button and it goes to everybody. And we, Carl said, yes, we do from taxes. So
Well, I'm not good, I wouldn't be good at drafting the letter, but I can certainly, I've done the mail merge and everything else, so I mean, I can handle the whole process of getting them out.
So we can do a mass mailing as well as e-alerts, so. Again, e-alerts, pretty good, pretty powerful, can be.
okay,
I can do it by Monday.
by Monday? Well, that's fast. Okay.
Change your mind?
The message that we're using on the petition?
Well, we could, but this is a little bit different in that we're going to be directly going to people to this
Well, I
is
know, but it's got the information that they need. It's
we
on
can't.
it already.
But
we can't.
you have to
She
come
wrote
down,
that
sit
letter.
down,
did she?
Probably,
Lori
yeah.
wrote that letter, yeah.
So once you get the letter, and we'll probably have another meeting, but I don't know where that is
Then
yet.
we'd have to say, what can they do about it? If they get that information, then
Where can they go to get more information?
they
or
can either come and
contact?
sign the petition at the hall and say, like, look, now, once we have that information out there, like, do we include that we're going to get a bus going down to Madison?
As soon as we find out what's dates and all that, and again, I want to accumulate everything we've got going so far.
Right,
Get it to the
but I'm saying is
attorney
that
and,
people are going to want to know, oh
Yep.
my gosh, I like Gary said,
Yeah.
Gary was stellar. He is a rock star, man. That guy spent, how many hours do you think you spent, Gary, out there? I mean, really, about,
Ain't done.
I mean, he went to, house to house to house,
Yeah.
like 30, 40 hours, Gary.
did you
And-
run across Scott Krug? He said he'd be out too, didn't he? Scott said he'd be out. I'll give him a call. Maybe the two of you can go out, yeah.
I mean, really, and so what I'm saying is that then they're going to say, well, what next? Or they'll be like, hey, I talked to that old guy, that came to my house. So now what do I do?
How about signs? Can we,
Okay.
All right, I did a little
No,
research on the signs.
I did
Like the politician signs, vote for me. We can get 100 of those for less than $500. So you got to have the sign, you got to have the metal wires that go into them. So it's cheaper the more you buy, but I just looked for 100 of them. For 100 of them, it's going to be less than $500.
We can get 500 signs for about 1,780. So again, the town board wants to know what the costs were and how many signs. 100. The one kid that did it a couple years ago, he went through 100 like that. I'm thinking 500, maybe even up to 1,000. But I would start off with a 500 as a request to the town board. That's with the metal stakes and the signs itself. Just need somebody to design a sign for us.
Hello?
Then we could-
You have them like in 3 or 4
If we are
days.
going to do that, then we should include that in the letter, that people can pick up a sign to put in their yard
Yep.
at the town.
The letter is also going to need the date of the Saturday meeting.
Yeah.
So we need to determine a date for that Saturday
Well,
meeting
what's the meeting going to be? Because I guess if
for awareness in the community, to increase that awareness amongst those that are not full-time residents. That's the purpose of the Saturday meeting.
yeah, I don't want it to turn into another 8-hour bitch session. We've all heard that. We all understand
And
that.
that's kind of like that's the reason we came out of that original meeting.
Correct. To find
Right.
things to do.
And then
not
the other thing on the
continue to rehash
The
all of our-
petition thing was, there was an email sent out regarding what happened with Lake Camelot's event with the rain, with the crafters. So this Saturday, they're saying we can have a table while the crafters are there to get signatures on this petition. So I'm wondering if anybody has made plans to be there on Saturday. I have a table. I will be willing to be there first thing in the morning to get things set up and started, but I can't stay for the entire day with my husband's health circumstance.
Oh, wait a minute, are you talking about the Camelot Craft? That's on Sunday because Saturday is Arrowhead's Craft Fair.
Oh, okay. I've got the wrong day in mind for that date. Sorry.
Moved it to Sunday instead of, because the craft fair is gonna be all day at Arrowhead.
Okay. But it would be Sunday. Sunday is still the same issue with my husband, but like I say, I've got a table. I'd be happy to be there to set things up, get started, but I'm going to need some relief throughout the day because I can't be there the whole day with Tom's situation.
I think we got enough people here that we could spread it out so somebody doesn't have to spend the whole day there. Take a 2-3 hour shift and somebody else come in. Same way with the farmer's market. I've been down there for the last since we first met, and there's nothing there. The sign out here, how long does it take to punch in? No solar farm in the town of Rome. There's nothing there. A banner on each end of the town, a big banner. One on D. Like that one guy said, you don't want it here. We gotta do something. And the wheel that squeaks the most, that's what my grandpa always said, gets the most grease. And we gotta start squeaking instead of sitting on our dead butts and not doing nothing. I mean, we're just sitting here, we're meeting, we gotta get this done, and we got a short time to do it. That one guy told me, he said if they filed in January, he said they could be turning soil by March, April.
No, won't be till 2027, the earliest.
They were talking 2026 at that last meeting.
Yeah, that won't happen. They won't
May
even,
have been before the town actually opposed it, so now
Yeah.
they had to add an open comment period and everything else. I
yeah,
think it was pushed back because the town never filed anything opposing it. So when we filed, the attorney filed something opposing it, that kind of pushed the deadline back a little bit.
I mean, they come in here and said, we're working with the fire department, we're working with the snowmobile associate clubs, we're working with the four-wheeler clubs, we're working with the rifle range. Are they working with them, or are they
No.
just handing them
they're
money?
that's just noise. Couple things. I've been to the farmer's market, and I've asked about placing our petition. Visit Rome said they'd have to talk to the board, understandable. 14 Miles, same thing. They'd have to talk to their board, and I couldn't find anybody else I could leave it with that I could, most of them are just vendors.
Can we just put a table there ourselves?
We can, but you need somebody to man it again. So that's always the issue is the horsepower behind it. So
Well, the 14 Mile, forget it, because we asked if we could do that, and they said no, they're for it. They got paid off. He literally told me he got paid off. And I'm thinking, this is the 14 Mile, it's supposed to be our environmental control here for water. And he said he's telling his friends and neighbors that live around it to go ahead and have leeway on the property with the solar panel people.
So if they detect chemicals in their water, in their 14 Mile?
Well, he's a forester, and he didn't think that was possible. So I'm like, and he's the head of it. Yeah, my husband and him went wound around. And, okay, let's break this up and move on because we're not getting anywhere with him.
14-mile watershed. got
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. My husband's the head of 14 Mile.
Yeah.
Well,
He wasn't there that day.
oh, no, there was somebody
No.
else there. But
There may have been. There may have been.
He implied that he was the head. And he was telling my husband and I that, he didn't see a problem with this, and he was for it.
But you know what?
I mentioned that to my husband.
$1,000 for it.
Vicky, when you mentioned it at our last meeting, I went home and I mentioned it to him, and he spoke to the person who was running the booth that day, and he had a different version of what he was trying to convey. And I don't know what, we weren't there, so who knows, but the thing is, 14 Mile is waiting to follow the procedures of meeting with the board, and
Good to hear. Well, this
yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, and that's one person in the group. And the truth is, we all know that, yes, solar energy is a good thing, but not in our trees. They can put it on the tops of rows of garages or buildings, and they can even do that, where the energy is going to go, in the town the energy is actually going to go. That's really the issue. And that's what we have to get across, that we don't want it here.
Also about, the paper plant that's being tore down on the Rapids area. I mean, it's all cement, it's everything. Nothing is around it. And we asked if
could
they
be
could
good.
do that, but they said it's not close enough to the grid, and it would cost too much money to get wired up for that to go to the grid. I don't know. I don't understand.
Wow.
But I thought, this is all demolished already, and it's cemented,
And
it's perfect.
And it's open.
It's open, they're tearing everything down.
That's what they want to do, is they want to, that's why they want our land, is because it connects to the grid.
Right, it's close to.
But I also think the solar farm, one of my neighbors who's on that committee, he's heavily involved, he signed the petition. So unfortunately, that gentleman that you talked to is not speaking for the whole 15-mile watershed, yeah.
We were like shocked. We walked away
No.
like,
Yeah.
no, you're supposed to be environmentally correct here.
No, no.
Right.
Maybe there's
right.
even some dissension on the board.
Yeah, I had asked Dave to bring it to the board for approval, or one way or the other, let us know before we go any further with it, so.
Yep, yep.
You know, I want to say something here. It seems like we're spinning our tires in reference to reaching out to people. And we have so many resources we're not tapping into. And what I'm thinking on some of these resources, for example, on Route 13 over there, Lake Arrowhead has a sign. Okay? We have a sign at the town hall. Okay? We need to work together and not against. For example, why can't the restaurants have, as you come into the restaurant, posters about the solar farm?
Flyers.
Okay? Right, flyers, my bad. How come, the churches, they have bulletins. Okay? We haven't even tapped that. We're beating our head. This guy's probably bloody stubs on his feet now, walking around, knocking on doors. We got to reach the people. Right outside our front door is a marquee. We can't use it. How about the one on the Lake Arrowhead one? Okay. My gosh, you even go to the bathroom in a restaurant. They got, while you're urinating, they got the sign right there. I'm sorry, but I'm saying that because that's true.
He's rolling, let him go.
But you follow what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
There's ways to reach, and we're not reaching out to it.
We've been meeting for, 3 weeks? And again,
I know,
you
but
got to
I'm
get the
bringing that up
infrastructure
because
going. And
we're
we've-
focusing on the petitions, and we can see we need to reach beyond that.
Yes, we do.
That's the original, that's who we get to. So what we're kind of doing right now, and time is against us, you're right, Vito, but we have to lay the groundwork, which is what we're doing. And because if people are like, you see a sign, solar petition, you heard about it from Gary Rattle, or one of us, or the petition, or an e-alert going out, now that sign means something. Because, like when you're driving by, I know when I read those, when I'm driving by, that I'm like, oh yeah, I know about that, I heard about that, oh yeah, the Wake Board meeting. But I think, you're right, I think those are next steps. And that's kind of like when I talked to Gary on the phone, he's like, Cindy, we kind of need to call a meeting and everybody's working, doing things. Now it's time to come together and do next steps.
Right. There's bulletin boards for crying out loud. You walk into the library.
It's going to mean a lot more once this groundwork. In 3 weeks we've done a lot, Vito.
Oh, I'm not.
As far as
I'm not saying, but maybe I'm looking towards. I like to see giant steps instead of baby steps.
Well, let me just
Go back, kind of been sitting in the corner here. Let's go back to, I think our first step has to be making everybody aware of it. So let's go back just a little bit on getting something out to the people by mail. First of all, we can't use the addresses on the petition because those are not always their mailing address. They may have put their Rome address, but they don't have a mailbox. So we need the file from Adams County for every property owner. And that's available. And actually, the petition one, you'd have to retype them, and I will not volunteer to do that. But if we
have a database with Rome Water Utility already, with names, addresses, and phone numbers for everybody in the town.
Great.
Is that it also in a form, though, where it can just be pulled into Excel?
We can export it out of there and put it in Excel.
Okay, so either way, and probably the water bill is probably up to date.
Glad you're listening, Taylor.
Yeah, you just need a mail merge
What we
file.
can do with that is take that mailing list, and rather than sending out a long, lengthy letter, put it on a postcard. Put it on a postcard with maybe a big picture of, as big as you could get of solar panels or whatever. But then put so that we can keep it down to one mailing, put a QR code on there. So all they have to do is take that QR code or the link, and we have all the other stuff on a website.
Okay, let me bring it all back. So, you guys all got a copy of this. This is what we went to the board with last week, okay? Hopefully you guys are reading this stuff, but as we tried to establish it in the beginning, we're gonna come through, create some action items, make sure the board was aware of the action items that we had to approve or disapprove any of them, and then it was about resourcing the action items that we wanted to do. So to your point, number 4 on that action item list was to improve communications awareness with residents and property owners. Now, granted, we haven't done a lot of that yet, but we are working this list. And this was continued discussion at all future board meetings, continue communicating with media outlets, create a booth at the farmer's market, initiate a petition, which has begun, create posters or flyers. We talked about that today, but it's already on the list. Print and distribute lawn signs, it's on the list. Team up with 14 Mile Watershed to help spread the news. We did that, apparently, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Initiate discussion with Sand Valley, reach out to Tri-Lakes to spread information to its members, direct mail campaign, which is exactly what we're talking about, compile an email group list of all residents and property owners. So it's already here. So if we want to talk about, we followed the steps. We met, we all bitched for a little while, then we came up with some solid action items. We formatted them, gave them to the board. Now it's about how do we proceed? How do we do action items? Jeremy, do you want to say something?
Yeah, please. So I also kind of want to give a other perspective of how many signatures compared to what I think we might need in terms of signatures. Carl, how many did you say we roughly have?
At least 600, but I have no idea how many Gary has too.
I got
So,
146 here.
so
Okay, so we are now talking,
we're
you
probably
know,
approaching 1,000, I guess, overall.
which I think we need to focus less now. I know this is going to sound counterintuitive, but I think our awareness in terms of what we need to be able to push to the audience, that we need to have this audience, having every resident of Rome know about it is absolutely fantastic. But without getting, too Sailor-esque, it's not important anymore. September 2nd through the 11th is when the Wisconsin State Legislature is going to be on the floor. If we can get letters with the petition to them between September 2nd and 11th, that's going to be more impactful than these continued awareness efforts. We have the signatures to start saying to them, time out, PSC, not here. So we need to start, in my opinion, we need to start addressing our attention to the actual audience that's going to be making the decision. I think we've received what we need from our town to start going down there.
Do we think Evers would veto that if they put some legislation in to?
Oh, I mean, I don't want to speculate on anything they would do, but I personally think we could also benefit with this subcommittee from potentially, and I hate to say this out loud, but potentially figuring out some type of community benefits agreement and maybe not be so just adamantly opposed to this, because if it's such an uphill battle, we're going to put all this energy expended into fighting something that we are going to lose versus maybe putting some energy also into, hey, we know you're coming. We want these things if we're going to agree to this,
Well,
let me put a few things in here. I talked to the chairman up in Saratoga, and they have the solar farms up there.
Yep.
Big difference between the two of us. That company that brought it in was Savion. They bought the land. Saratoga has access to the properties. They have say, basically, they can make ordinances, and they have been. Totally different than us. They're not in favor of this. They don't want commonly knowledge out there, but they're not in favor of having this thing here for several reasons. They do believe it'll affect our tourists, and it'll affect them one way or the other, gas stations or whatever. So they're not in big fan of it either, especially the way it's being forced on us. They had a say in the matter. And I did ask her, I said, well, did they guarantee buffers? She goes, yes. But you go down the road there, there's no buffers. There's no buffers. That's nonsense.
They were interesting.
So the other thing is, too, and I want to get this out, the thing on the petitions, I'd like to get as many as possible, but I don't want to just send it to Evers or to the PSC. I want to send it to every of our congressmen, our senators, the governor. We make copies. We send it to everybody. We get everybody out there, and they see what kind of numbers we got behind us. And I think that'll have a lot more impact than trying to send it to the PSC. They're a lost cause. Based on our attorney, the PSC is a lost cause, but we have access to them through other forces. One other thing you mentioned about water and busted machines. I'd sent a note to Jen McNeely. She works at the University of Wisconsin. She's an expert, apparently, on solar panels and water. So I'm waiting to hear back from her to see what information she's got for us. Anyway, I got a lot more going, but a few other things. But anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Well, I like the idea of the petition going to the state legislature.
Everybody. The media, too. We get it to everybody. I mean, that's another
I think it would be
source
it'd
for
be
us.
better for us if we said that we have 2,000 residents and we have 1,500 signatures. That indicates that an overwhelming support against it, versus if we just send them, the petition that has 600 signatures on it. That there's no frame of or order of magnitude of that, where if we got everybody to sign off on the thing and it was a landslide of people, how do we do that?
Well, again, we got 7,000 properties. We got 3,000 residents. If you get it out to the folks that own property, don't live here, you get 3,000 signatures.
That's got to be our first biggie. Is getting that letter. Thank you for volunteering to do that.
Well, and having a letter that also reminds those down in Madison that statistically speaking, 600, 700 signatures is darn near a mandate for the town of our size. So I just continue the awareness and the push so that people can individually get things to them. But I think our target, I hate to always use military terms, but I think our target and our audience needs to start being those that not only are making the decision, even if the PSC is a lost cause, but who's actually in charge of the PSC. And not just one or two people, but multiple organizations, whether it's Scott and the governor, whether it's all our federal legislators. I mean, we can send it to all of them, but I just don't believe we need to have as much focus here in Rome anymore. Is all I'm pushing for, is that we really start getting the attention of those down in DC, those down in Madison, because they're the ones that are going to be the ones that make the decision.
Carl, on that list, could you have somebody here put that into a format that it can be in a mail merge so that we can do it that way?
Sure. We got 800 emails also at Trilix.
No, I mean to the list that you put together of who to send the letter to.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That way, when we get the letters, we can do one form letter, I suppose. Somebody said we shouldn't do that, but maybe we should, because there's a lot to pack into that. And we can talk about the petition and whatnot, work on that letter, and then push the button, and it goes to all these people that need to see it with the detail. And it might be a long letter, but one of the things that I found out from being in business for my whole career, people tend to read bullet points a lot faster than they do 10 pages of written documentation. So if you send somebody a document that's got 10 pages, chances of them reading it beginning to end ain't going to happen.
Yep.
Give them some bullet points that they can scan through real quickly, and all of a sudden the content of that is there. Boom, it's read. It's just like you guys did. Probably half of you didn't read all the stuff that I sent you. It takes a long time. It takes a long time. There's a lot of stuff here. Gary.
The older couple that I was talking to, I was in their house for 45 minutes. He talked about, I don't know if it was when the cow farm was coming here or something, or the potato thing. He said he can remember when there was 500 people down at the town hall, or way before my time. And he said to me, let's get that again, the 500 people. Because he said, what are we going to do? And I said, well, we're talking about maybe going down carrying signs in Madison. He said, if we could have a showing here that we have that many people behind us up here and have the TV people come in here, then we go down there, the 50 people, it's going to make a bigger statement. That's what his thought was. And I thought, it makes sense. If you got people at home behind you, they're going to listen to you down there too, instead of just 50 people going down there and walking around with signs. And you're going to get some guff from some people down in Madison, I know that.
Okay, let's do this. I wrote down some notes here. Saturday meeting, yard signs, letter to property owners /e-alert, posters /flyers for businesses, and signs around the town. Is there anything, I mean, I'm putting together a short list of stuff that I want to today resource out so that they're done. So by the time we have our next meeting, we're ready to go to push some of these things out there. So is there anything I should add to that list? They're all on here, but that's fine. It's good that they are all on here because we can check them off that we've done them. Is there anything I missed for the immediate, let's, like, when I say immediate, like in a week or 10 days to have it happen so that we get everybody aware?
Let's get a price on the direct mailer so we can take that to the board for backing. We already got signs. We got a good idea on signs, so.
Well, the direct mail would only apply if you're going to put together a printed poster or printed something or other to put out there.
Well,
We're just talking about a letter. Does that,
well, both. I'm thinking about the mailer going out to people, but putting the QR code in there too. Then the QR code take you to the website. You could also put a signature page on there. And now you got how many more signatures possible?
who knows how to do all of that? She's going to write the letter, but I mean, somebody's got to get the QR code.
That's easy. QR code's easy.
And then who's going to create the, I don't know, do we have a web person here on staff or anything? Who's going to create where you go to when you click on the QR code?
I volunteer, Donna.
I knew you.
Okay.
We can figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
You know, I was thinking, timing is of the essence. If we're going to start getting people down in Madison involved, when's the next election?
The next election?
Mm-hmm.
Be a spring election.
Well, this is where timing comes in. The only way those politicians listen to anything
Votes.
is when they stand a risk of losing their job. When,
Yeah, and I mean,
when you think about it, that's a fact. We start getting publicity. We start pushing this. Okay. If they're going to ignore us, they just ignored 600 votes. So that's what I'm saying. Timing has to be of the essence. If we're going to do something like that, it has to be right around election time.
Well, the
too
election time is probably going to be a tougher
there's a
challenge, but there are
There's a
three
primary
floor periods. Well, that's what I was thinking. The primary is probably in spring, but
in April.
there's 3 floor period sessions between now and December. I think those are the periods. Each period lasts about 9 days-ish. Those are going to be the 3 periods that we need to get down to Madison to do whatever we're planning on doing, whether it's letters, busing, something up here in conjunction with whatever it is. Those need to be the windows of opportunity for us to do it.
Again,
Let's talk about that one later since we're doing the rush things right now. But I agree that the votes count. And maybe when we have our Saturday meeting, we can invite some politicians to that meeting so they can actually hear what's going on. Which brings me to the Saturday meeting. Let's talk about a date. I think the forum of that meeting needs to be us telling them what's going on. And I'm pretty good with PowerPoint. I can do a PowerPoint presentation, so I'm volunteering myself for that. And I've got some time to work on that. It'd be like I'm back at work again, I suppose, because I used to do some pretty big ones.
Yes, it is.
But anyhow, we can do that. But what Saturday is going to work? Obviously, this Saturday is too soon. So maybe the next Saturday or the Saturday after that. What are we talking? Anybody got any ideas? And how long? What do we have to do to actually arrange it in the town hall meeting room over there?
I think the sooner the better, because the kids are all going back to school after Labor Day, then everybody disperses. So I know we can't do it this weekend, but maybe the following weekend where they start to tie up their cabins.
I was going to say a second or third weekend is probably when they're doing the winterizing.
So you're talking the 6th or the 13th? Those are both
6th
Saturdays?
is out.
Not 6th,
The 13th, maybe?
maybe 13th or even 20th.
13th? Okay.
Give us some time to get the message out
Yeah,
there.
get the message so everybody understand what's happening.
Yeah,
That's a
I can't do the
Saturday.
20th because I'm on a
What day?
sturgeon fishing trip. So
Did you say the 20th now?
the 13th.
What
Got
time?
to get the letters out there correctly before we.
Well, we can.
Or what time we talking?
Well, the letters are going to go out next week. She's going to have the letter done by Monday, so we'll put a meeting together for Tuesday. We'll expressly to approve that letter, and then to make it happen. Carl, you're
if we're gonna send the cards, you're talking about a letter or a
letter.
not a postcard?
Well, do we want, I
Are
mean,
you talking email or direct mail?
yes.
Both?
I mean, the letter, if we email the letter, that's free.
Yep.
Okay, if we do a direct mail, then that's not free.
Yeah.
If we do the letter in an envelope, then you just got whatever you're gonna pay per envelope.
But if they're not in town, an email is probably more effective too.
Yeah.
If there are residents not in town.
Yeah, it's dealing with the place in town. They usually require at least 2 weeks' notice. You got to get the information into them. They got to pack the letters. They got to fold it, mail it, and all that. And that takes at least 2 weeks. We deal with them in Tri Lakes.
I'm fine with email, because everybody's got email these days.
So email.
If they don't, they're gonna be in the, on the minority, not the majority.
A lot of people that signed the petition didn't want to put down their email because they said they get so much email crap now that they don't want any more. I mean, it's,
But if it's from the town of Rome, though, that's more specific.
That
Right.
should be in the.
Yeah, but do they have it on file? I mean, you have the addresses from the water department of their addresses. Do we have their email addresses?
Well, water is pretty much only Camelot. So
I get it.
No.
I get it.
No. We pay $49 a year. There's a,
Yeah,
but
fire-
that doesn't mean they have your emails.
pardon me?
Most of the emails on Camelot most of the emails at the water department are for Camelot.
I personally think a postcard would be more effective than
I
every
agree.
on the tax roll. I mean, everybody gets
Let me go.
taxed.
I'm gonna go find out what we got for a.
I mean, less is more.
So we need a postcard with a QR code on it, because you're not gonna be able to get all this stuff on a postcard.
That's
No, but
I
the
think.
letter would be on a website then, but that also, they have that QR code or that link that they can continually follow that for updates as well.
So
instead
we
of
would do
sending a letter out for every update.
We would do a letter on email. We would do postcards with the QR code that references the letter that we sent on email. So everybody's getting the exact same information.
Correct.
And then in the email, we put in the subject line, urgent Town of Rome, so they don't, hopefully it won't go into spam. At least they'll see urgent Town of Rome.
Yeah, that's another thing. You know, you're right. You get an email, it doesn't recognize it, it goes into trash or spam. That's another thing. You're not guaranteed. We found that out firsthand the other day.
I'm the kind of guy that don't look at my emails, and I'm invited to a birthday party for a family member, and I don't go, and they wonder why I wasn't there. I mean, and I think there's a lot of other people that do that too. So I personally think the postcard
Well, we'll
would be
cover
more
both ways.
effective.
We'll do the email, we'll do the email and we'll do the postcard. And
And then there's social media. You know,
I don't use the codes ever. I never use those codes.
Right, but when the QR code goes on the postcard, it will also have the actual address that you would go to.
Yeah, and
You know,
that I will do, but
and then
I
you can
won't,
type
yeah,
in
I
or-
won't
yeah.
scan those QR codes at all into my phone. Ain't gonna happen.
Well, excuse me, I also think that by putting out flyers and all the businesses and the churches and the signs up, then people are gonna say, oh, there is something going on around here.
that's what I was saying.
Postcards and the emails out, and then it's all.
In other words, a blitz. We're doing a blitz.
A blitz, right.
I think that would, if we do it all together, I mean, how many businesses you walk into, there's a bulletin board as soon as you walk in the door. You go to
your
Panera,
front door.
right, you go to Panera's for crying out loud, they got a bulletin board right there, community events. And that's what I was trying to get at. You know, if we could
Can
do
we
a
also
blitz.
do a-
Even the hotel's got a great big sign that we could put something up on.
Exactly.
Can we do a virtual petition signing? Is that possible?
I don't know.
Who would know that?
People are aware that, you know, you have older generations that don't understand IT stuff, and they may not understand to put
I
their
think
name
maybe
on
it should include go to the town hall to sign it.
But you are right about that, because like I say, like Denise was saying about using that code, I don't know how to use it. If it wasn't for my wife, I'd be having a flip phone.
Or my kids, you know. But yeah, there's an older generation here that are not
telling the
familiar
truth.
with any IT. So we're reaching out
Thank
with
you.
postcards and publicity things would be the
telling the
best.
truth.
So we get
Well, I think in addition to the QR code, you're also going to have an email or a web address to go to.
Well, as soon as you hit the QR code, it'll take you right to it.
The QR code takes you right there, or you can
Go
type
to
it
the
in.
Rome Center to sign up.
Oh, one thing too, if you want to come up with something on the marquee, we can get it out there today. So what do you want on the marquee?
Oh, let's do that.
And postcards,
Did you hear that, Denise?
Taylor will handle that as far as we get her the information. She'll get that set up with the folks in town, but it does take about 2 weeks.
On the sign out front, Carl, set the date for the meeting, put that out there, solar farm meeting, whatever.
Okay.
Get it out on the board today.
And somebody has to go down to Arrowhead and run by the board, I guess, down there to see if they'll agree with their
Time is the
marquee.
13th.
Oh, yeah, we need to establish the time.
10 o'clock?
10, I would say 10.
Gonna be too soon. You're gonna send out letters saying they're not gonna get out there. You said 2 weeks for OCD, get 13's too soon.
But if we still get out like flyers and signs, and we also get the emails out, that's something out there.
And remember, when you put a blitz out like that, you have to have something out there that's eye appealing. In other words, you just don't put a white piece of paper. In other words, I don't care if you put something purple, polka dot, draw their attention to it. If you follow what I'm saying, something has to draw the attention. When you walk into a restaurant, you walk into the country club, the clubhouses, you see something, wow, why is there a purple sign here?
Or pictures of solar farms.
There you go.
Even this,
A picture of
the
solar
town of Rome,
farm.
our sign with urgent,
And a picture of the solar panels.
red letters.
I've showed people because they don't even know what, there's many people that do not know what a solar farm is. I pulled it up on my phone and showed people.
That's the picture that I pulled off the internet.
Exactly, that'd be a great
Told
one.
me they heard
Is that what we want?
He was gonna be a housing development.
Is that what we
That's
want?
they
Or an
were told.
ATV with the slashes and so, you know.
Yes, so they get their attention for the trails.
Exactly. We're gonna lose all these trails.
Can you do that kind of a graphic on the marquee out there?
I
Solar
think so,
farm
yeah.
with the,
They've got, yeah, I believe they can.
and then contact Rome.
Put something on the site.
All right, we're getting all over the map here. So
are.
we first said the Saturday meeting, the 13th was it. So I have that penned in as the 13th.
We're not going to be able to get cards up
What time,
by then.
Cindy?
The other thing is, too, the board's got to approve the funding, which we don't have a meeting until next Thursday, a week from Thursday. So.
Are we sure we can't get a simple postcard? I'm not talking about a glossy or something like that. I mean, we can't get
It's
something done in.
Minimum $700, and that's what we were spending at Tri-Lakes, and that's not as many people, but they still need it 2 weeks. But funding from the town, we're going to need board approval.
How does that happen? You got to wait for.
Well, we
next
just go to the board and say, here's the signs, what do you want to do? Here's the cost. Do the same thing with the postcards.
I thought this guy's independently wealthy.
No.
If he is, I didn't know about it.
Just write a check, Carl.
He used to be, now you are, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Together, you guys are husband and wife.
Don't tell anybody, yeah.
Yeah, we
It's
got
big
wait to
secret.
the board.
Big secret.
And that's what,
Okay, so let's go back to the.
All right.
All right. So we're going to do a direct. We're going to do an e-alert or an e-letter. In that letter, we would talk about the date of the meeting. I can't do the 20th. I can do the 13th, no problem. I just can't do the.
and you
20th.
said 10 o'clock.
I didn't say any time yet.
Oh, I read Cindy's lips over there.
Yeah, because that's what he told me.
But the 13th isn't going to work because we can't get the postcards out fast enough.
I don't think you can get them up. No, you can't, because you need board approval on the funding.
Then we got to go to the.
Let's do the 27th.
Have a special meeting? Can't you call a special meeting? They get the fund because we're under the timeline.
Three of you here.
Can you have a special
We
meeting
can't
to
take
approve
any
it?
action.
The funding for the
No.
solar, for the.
Here.
Correct.
We got the budget coming up too, so we got all that locked out.
Yeah, well, that's, a little later,
Right,
September.
well, in September.
Just say okay.
Guys,
He was at
careful, we can't
the-
take
for
any
the
action.
wake boat thing.
True. Well, no, you're right. We can't
no.
discuss town business, no,
Yeah.
Give your
no,
name
we
and-
cannot.
All right, so we're what do we want to do about the Saturday meeting?
We'll do the 27th, and you mentioned social media. Why don't we make a Facebook page and start getting that out there?
So really good, because people always look at Facebook.
Then they can complain and stuff on there. And
Yeah. We can put a QR code there, too. Also, it'll take you to the town site and a signature page.
Facebook.
Does that work?
So are we on to the 27th then?
It gives us time.
That's late. Will we actually have, if it's going, when did someone say it was actually going to the legislature?
The sessions, the floor periods are September 2nd through the 11th, October 7th through the 16th, and November 11th through the 20th.
So October 7th, and we're right before that session if we come in on the 27th. Right? We're about a week ahead of time.
Yeah, that works.
I mean, it'd be great to put something in all their inboxes before they get to
To the meeting.
their offices, you know? If on October 7th, before they open their first session, all they see is a bunch of letters from Romans saying, hey, do your job and be for us.
Well, and I think we should really strong arm some people into attending that meeting on the 27th. Scott and maybe, whoever else we can get, even Ron Johnson, I mean, good luck with that.
Well, we did.
Money runs in a different department, you all know
Well,
it.
we did meet one of his staff members at the unit meeting, so I've got his card, so I grabbed it. I'll get a hold of him.
Okay.
Tell him he better be there.
That gives them some time.
Yeah.
That gives us some
One
time.
other thing, before the 27th, beat them, get a hold of Channel 7 and 9 and have them come down and do an interview with some people about the solar farm meeting on the 27th.
After the meeting.
Before the meeting, let the people know that it's coming up.
You want me to call him?
What?
You want me to call him?
It's
Yeah.
not up to me.
Call Melissa and
Just shake your head.
So we're saying 10 o'clock on the 27th?
Yeah,
Is that
I'll
what
give
we're
him
saying?
I would say 10:30, just like the wakeboard meeting, or the wakeboat meeting was.
Yeah, this
I drove
meeting-
by,
this-
there's a lot of cars
This
there.
meeting might last a while. I mean, I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
If the TV gets it out there a week before, it's gonna, they've already did one article or one newscast on a solar farm when we first started this. I heard comments from several residents. That's a good way to get that meeting out there.
I would go 10 a.m., not 10:30.
Okay. Plus, someone had mentioned to me about the Madison station.
Madison stations, I think they pick up on 7 or 9.
Oh, they do? Okay,
I think they
okay.
do.
Yeah, they're sister
They
stations.
bought them, I think.
Okay.
They all
They're sister
an
stations.
incestuous business.
I also, hey, for the board too, I also literally just spoke with Wisconsin Public Media, who does work with the chamber. They're a public organization. Joe and I talked, and I got a good education on it. They might be able to help do some video stuff for us too. That's tax funded. Joe and Taylor are city employees, and they are actively pursuing projects outside of Rapids. So I had talked to them about a private thing, and then I got talking about some Rome stuff too.
That's
so.
that station by the YMCA.
I think so. I don't know where they are, but they're also
Yeah.
one of the few video folks
Yeah.
in town too.
All right, well, we have a few weeks to work that part out. Let's stay focused on here. Not that I don't want to talk about that, but so we
think
got
they're
the
Channel 3.
We got the meeting at 10 a.m. on the 27th of September. The next thing is the letter and the direct mail. So Lori's going to do the letter, and then we're all going to get a copy of it and read it. And if you have any comments or questions or whatnot, we can talk about that. And we should target. If she's going to have it done Monday, we should target getting it out by the end of the week, next week. That means that the e-alert and the email will go out will go out by the end of next week, and then whenever we can get the postcards done. So that brings me to the next thing. So if we have a meeting next week, like say Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, I shouldn't say that until I look at my calendar because I got myself in trouble the last time. So, okay, so I'm good for Tuesday.
Next Tuesday? No.
Yeah, no, just for this,
Yeah, the day after Labor Day.
correct. Is that too early?
No. I mean, with all the meetings, I might as well put camp out over here.
Bring a tent, see a tent. Do we want to make it Wednesday or Thursday?
I prefer Wednesday, because we have people into the whole.
But don't we have something on the 4th?
Yeah, town board.
Yeah. That would be in the morning.
Town board?
Yeah, we got.
We're doing the budget thing.
No, we got a town board meeting at 5 on that Thursday. We're not doing budgets yet.
Oh,
I can't do morning, I can do afternoon.
Okay. Wednesday afternoon.
All right, so next Wednesday afternoon is going to be our next meeting, and with the sole purpose of that meeting to go over Lori's letter, finalize that letter, and then get it
what's the
out.
date and the time?
Wednesday, September 4th. What time can you meet then?
September 3rd.
September 3rd.
September 3rd is Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does 2 o'clock in the afternoon work for everybody?
Yep.
Okay, Wednesday, September 3rd.
Can we go 1 o'clock? Because there's early release from school on Wednesdays.
Okay.
The first Wednesday?
Okay, 1 o'clock.
The 3rd.
You are buying lunch, right?
No. Carl's the one who's independently wealthy.
So
Oh, that's
ask
right.
Donna.
That's right. We established that fact, didn't we?
What time do we say?
I'm married.
1 o'clock?
Not possible.
Darlene said that the 2 doesn't work for her.
I'm just wondering if we could do it at 1 instead of 2.
Anybody have issue with 1 o'clock?
Just a reminder, too, I did post on Rome Community Advocates the letter I sent to Governor Evers. I got the address down there, his email. If you go to that site, it'll take you right to his form. Put your name, put in there, copy this down if you want, or make up your own comments in there, but send it in to them. Load up their mailbox with this stuff. It's
All right.
it's real simple.
Next Wednesday, September 3rd, 1 o'clock, we're meeting to go over Lori's letter. So it'll be just go through that letter. Can we use that thing?
Sure.
What do we have to do to use that thing?
Look it up. We got different computers. Is there one sitting there now?
Just turn it on.
Yeah.
You gotta have it, can you put it on a thumb drive or something?
Yeah.
Stick it in there, we can go through it. That way you can edit it if you need to edit it, but I don't think you probably need to edit it, but we'll go through that. And then that'll be our next meeting. Then, who's gonna handle the, what goes on the postcard that we send out to everybody?
Should we take bullets from the letter that we're gonna send out?
Well, remember, we're just gonna have a postcard, so Donna was gonna do the QR code, you were gonna do the QR code. Okay, so that goes on there, and maybe the less that we say probably would be the better.
Could you say Rome, a town for all seasons, or Rome, a town of solar panels?
And a picture of that picture that I have right here, we can
And I
stick
think
on
that
there.
would be
Oh,
very,
honey, I like that.
really, like, what the heck is going on?
Because that's the town motto. I have to see it.
A town, Rome.
And that's all you need to say. That's really all you need to say.
Of solar panels.
Solar farm, and then you could put the picture of it, and then for more information, the QR code, or
That'll get it. Thank you, I did something right. But I also have.
did somebody write that down? Because I'll forget it.
I also have something to say too. John is Air Force, and he's been working with the facility over in Babcock to let them know what's going on, because at first they didn't know. But now they've researched it, and solar panels have filed with the FAA all the proper forms, and they agreed on it. So can't get the Air Force involved.
Okay. Well, it was a good thought.
It was, we thought, because.
It was
this
on our
is a
list.
flight pattern,
Scratch it off.
We could really block that, but the solar panels beat us to it.
Unbelievable.
Okay, who is going to contact whoever does the postcard? Who's going to do that? Well, we've got to have the postcard made. I mean, we've agreed
Lori's
to.
okay with working with me, which I can understand is a struggle. I would prefer I think it'd be a wiser way of doing it where the postcard is modeled after the verbiage that's in the letter. So taking the letter and then just doing a Twitterfy tweet, X tweet, whatever you call those things these days, to condense it down to 140-ish characters.
Why don't you do?
I'd be willing to work with you guys too if you wanted help.
Okay, good.
Why don't you bring in one or two samples?
Taylor.
Shall they look?
Sound good?
Sure.
So Jeremy
Thanks, Jeremy.
will work with Lori on the postcard, and Donna will do the QR code, and Carl will get it approved from the board for the cost.
We'll bring it to the board's attention. Yep.
We have to know what it's going to cost before we go to the
Well,
board?
we'll need a rough idea. I'll call those folks and get an idea.
Okay, so you're going to take care of that, and
Yeah.
can we have that done by our next meeting on next Wednesday then?
Sure.
Okay. And that takes care of the biggies, the two biggies, the Saturday meeting and the letter to property owners, e-alert. And, okay, so then the last three things on this thing are yard signs, posters or flyers, and then any other signage around here or whatnot. Maybe that's a duplication, but the yard signs. Do we want to have some mock-ups or something of the yard signs for our meeting next Wednesday and vote on which one we'd like? Anybody want to handle that one? I mean, they have websites you can go out, because I looked at them.
Yeah.
Get them in multicolors, single colors, they're all just more money, and you got to have a wire or something, and then how many? You know, everybody wants to raise their hand, I don't want this, but then they want to sign in their yard. Just like when it comes time for election, I don't want to say that I'm a Republican or a Democrat by putting a sign in my yard. So what do we want to do with that?
We've got all these roads around us, just everywhere.
Everybody takes 25 signs and go stick them in the ground somewhere?
Yeah, but there's some ordinances in regards to that, like for,
It doesn't quite work that way where you just
Right.
go and plunk it down.
you can't do that.
Oh, come on.
No, I mean, and then what's going to happen is the police are going to pick them up.
Can't be in the right of way. So
Right, so you
that's all.
can't, I mean, during an election, yeah, you could put them out there, but you have a time limitation to lift them and get them out.
Yeah. In
Now-
fact, all the ones that still have their election signs up, for pride's sake, they're all in violation.
If it's not on their property. If it's on their property, that's fine.
Property too.
If it's on their property and they don't have a date, they're okay. If there's a date on it, it's got to go.
Yeah.
So
Actually, the town
Well,
of
that-
Rome called
that-
me up
that-
and told me I
that
had to get
creates
mine
that
out
issue.
one time.
But like I say, before we start doing the signs, and I did this during the election, I kind of Googled which colors are the best signs to draw people. Yellow and black. Yellow and black.
go on again.
Yellow sign with a black print.
Bumblebees don't like solar panels.
No,
Neither do
but
we.
that draws your attention immediately.
Personally, I think the main signs we should get instead of all the signs in people's yards is the three main signs, north, south, and D.
On state highway, you need a permit, and that's $250 per side of the road.
So when Sherwood or anybody puts a sign up by the town of Rome, they have to get a permit to do
If you're
that.
on the easement, you better have a permit. It's $250 each side.
Well, do we want to do those kinds of signs instead of yard signs then? I mean,
We have town signs at each end of the town, which we probably.
That's what he's
have to
talking
get
about.
Permits for, right?
That's what I mean, put them right there.
Can't you just get instead of adding a sign, can you just actually put a banner
That's
on
what I'm-
that same post? Just put a banner underneath, that's not a sign.
Well, I'd have to check on that. I don't know. We'd have to check on that, so I don't know.
does the, I mean, I've driven by those signs all the time. Do they have legs and they're open underneath to put the banner on, or where would you put the banner at?
Well, it could just have grommets or whatever, and you just secure it to the post. And you, actually, doesn't 14 Mile have something like that? Didn't you have banners made up for the State of the Lakes?
Probably, but I know for fishery, there's
And the fishery as well?
The fishery
That's a
one up
better
here looked like it
plan
just
than
had a
than the
post,
yard
and it looked like to me it was attached to the town of Rome
Everybody's
sign.
gonna go.
It's possible. I don't know. I don't know the answer to
There's
that one.
one at the entrance and one when you leave. And also, like, if we could get, like the hotel to put something up on there, if they would allow us to do that. But,
D has a town of Rome sign too.
yeah, so I mean, you know, we could maybe, and people pass them all the time. So
Anybody got graphics software to do a sign? Do we want to, well, let me ask the group, would we prefer to do the signs on the north, south, east, and west versus the yard signs?
What do you mean? It would be less hassle if we have to pay
I still think we
for
should
it.
have yard signs. We need to plaster this town.
I know, but.
Well, we are going to
cost-
plaster them with the direct mail and all that. Everybody's going to have it in their mailbox. So they're going to see it one way or
And then
another.
if people decide to take it down, or solar people come in and pick them up at night.
Or if we have to collect them all afterwards, then that creates a nightmare too. What do you guys want to do?
I like yard signs because that kind of gets the message out there, and it'll also show unity. And when these solar folks come into town, they start seeing that. Maybe get the hint. Probably not, but you never know. My opinion.
Anybody talk to San
Banners
Valley?
are fine too.
Did anybody talk to San Valley yet?
Maybe do both.
Are they aware of it? Maybe
Now, remember now, as we saw in the election, when you start putting signs up in the wintertime, we got snow
We
drifts.
got till November to get this thing.
You got
knocked off.
snow drifts, snow banks,
I'm not worried about winter at this point.
and they get. Well, I'm just saying, if you're going to keep them up there, and the snowplow is going to come and plow, so there's going to be.
Snowplow, it's not going to be on the easement, so it's going to be on your property. So,
Okay.
and I again, we got till November to get this thing.
Okay.
When you got the price on the yard signs, were you dealing with the actual person around here that does that, or were you online?
Online, yeah.
'Cause I went online too. I looked
Cheap signs, there's a bunch of them out
There's
there.
a bunch of
yeah.
them out there. What do we want the yard signs to say, folks?
I kind of like what you said.
I think that saying, Rome, a town of seasons or a town of solar farms. But I know it's too much to put on a sign.
No, it's not. No.
Anybody got any ideas?
Kind of like, what are,
I
that
like
hits
the
home.
idea of the solar farm photo with the circle around it and a line through it.
You know, I'll make a bunch of signs up. I'll bring some in next week.
Okay.
Samples.
I'll do a couple too.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
You'll use AI though, won't you?
Hear what I just said.
What do you say?
Hell
Worked out
no,
great
solar
last
must go.
Yeah. Can we get away with that?
Why not? You're not doing profanity.
We'll talk about that next week. Lori and Carl are going to bring some
Okay.
examples.
I'm sorry. Your name again was
Kurt Johnson.
Kurt. Kurt gave us a sample of a flyer.
Yeah, this is something that you can make, like a trifold. You can make like a trifold, and then if you did that, you could maybe even put the QR code here, fold it up, and then mail it to everybody, I would think, but it's just an idea. I was at the meeting the other night, and some people were talking about it, and I said I would look at this letter that you guys made up and try to make some stuff up a little bit. So it was just an idea, and I wanted to hand it out. And then the other one that I handed out is just kind of like, again, it took a lot of points that you already had, but I just made it up so it's easier to read. But if that's something that you could use in that letter that you want to do, it was just some ideas that I said I would.
Lori, did you get a copy of this too?
I did.
Okay, good.
So,
All right.
but that's, I just wanted to point that out.
And again, something like this, when they set up the website, all of this could be on the
Yeah,
web.
it could all be on there.
Does this have to be produced by somebody who has a folder and all that thing? And
No, you could actually go to the print store too and just a PDF file, and then they can make a bunch of these. I mean, they're probably, I think, 150 of them cost you about $160 is all. So, and that was on some real nice paper. So I mean, it's just an idea is all. You could just, so if you mailed it and then opened it up like this and had the QR code and stuff, I mean, it says a lot of stuff like, what.
Extra?
Yeah, these are all extras here that I had that I wanted everybody to have.
Because you passed them out before the meeting for the.
Yeah, I don't think you
whiteboard,
got
and
one.
that was perfect.
Yeah,
Because it had,
so-
Just give
you
me your
fold it
email.
up,
Yep.
you unopen it, and it's right there. You fold it back up, and it's convenient.
We need to reach that large percentage that are not physically here.
Right.
We need to get a mailing out to every address.
How expensive would that be if you did it like a pamphlet?
I'll ask ODC.
Because I-
I'll ask him.
all right, so we'll table this until next week then?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more important question of points. Well, I guess I should be on the microphone. I have everybody yours. I think it might be beneficial to involve Visit Rome with Lisa.
I was wondering about that.
Okay.
Don't
Sorry,
we-
that was just my.
Doesn't
She has
the
to bring
town
it to the
residents
board.
Pay for them? Pay for?
She has to bring it to the board, so I already talked to her.
Okay, sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. Doesn't hurt. I'm sorry?
When does this one meet?
I don't know. I don't know when their next meeting was, but she said she would bring it up with the board.
Okay, let me recap. So we have decided on a Saturday meeting at 10 o'clock on the 27th of, 27th. 27th of September. And I will do a PowerPoint presentation that we can all review before we do it. We'll go through all of that. All of you guys are going to be up there with me. It's not just going to be me sitting up there. And then we'll open it up for questions afterwards, which, I'm sure it'll take all of 2 hours. So we'll say it's going to be from 10 to 12. And nobody wants to meet after 12 anyhow.
Let me double check, make sure that date's available.
Okay. The letter that we're going to send out to property owners, Lori will have done for Monday, or by Monday, but we'll see it, we'll review it in that meeting and make sure everything is fine. And that will go out as a letter, an e-alert. We're also going to do the direct mail postcards. Carl's going to get some information on that. And Jeremy's going to work with Lori to figure out what's going to go on that postcard. And Donna will do the QA, or the QR code. We will review this at our next meeting to make sure you guys have ideas right on this thing so we can go through and it's already formatted. We can change the format, whatever, but I like the fact that it's the bullet point thing to my comment earlier, that people read bullet points. They don't read 10 pages of documents.
Concise and to the point.
Correct. And then Carl's going to come up with...
We got the room.
Pardon me?
We got the room.
Okay. And then Carl's going to come up with some mock-ups of yard signs. We didn't finalize any sort of banner signs to go on the north, south, east, west. Do we want to finish discussion on that or table it or what?
And again, we have the print shop right here in town too on the banners, so.
What do you think of the banners? It'd be an eye
You're
catcher.
talking, what, 3 or 4 of them? That's, yeah, it'd be an eye catcher.
But we've got to get a cost on that, right?
Yeah, for the town, yeah.
Do we already know what
Are
it
you
costs?
talking how big of a banner?
4 foot, maybe by 2
Well, if we're going
I
to,
can tell you it'll be about 150 to 200 bucks.
each.
if we're going
I
to
mean,
talk...
rapid signs, that's about, sorry to keep interrupting.
Well, if we're going to talk about these signs, they need to be such that we can attach them to our Rome signs, correct?
Yeah, and he can even help with some of the framing and all that too. And I don't know what level of petty cash before you guys have to go do the 3 bid process and all that, but.
No, we don't need a bid. The board can vote on it and make it done
Yeah,
deal.
it'll be a couple $100 for a sign that size, even with the frame or posts if we have to have Mike or someone else do it.
Okay, so we can,
Or a donation from the printing, since they're part of Rome. and it's gonna
Well,
affect
he's
their
in
business
Rapids.
too.
In Rome, it would be
Oh.
Connie.
This
Connie
one
Pie.
down here,
Connie Pie,
Yeah, I think she's the only one in Rome.
yeah.
yeah, right down the road.
so do we need any more for that, for you, Carl, to get approval of the board for that?
Just need a cost, that's all.
Okay. Anything I missed?
I got another meeting I gotta go to, so I gotta leave.
Yeah, well, we're,
Are we going to just table the idea about Sunday? I had started a note for people to sign up for sessions, and it's stopped there by Carl.
This coming Sunday? I'll sign up. I'll do
not gonna
10
be here.
to 10 to 12.
Thanks, Laurie. Denise, is it 8 to 10? Are you gonna be there or something?
And he just took 10 to 12.
Gary, are you 12 to 2 with me?
On Sunday. I better talk to the big boss before I commit to anything.
I did it without the boss, but she's sitting right there.
She'll, okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to do it with you.
okay, I think we had a really productive meeting. Anybody have anything else before we adjourn?
If we go down to the farmer's market on Friday, do we have to have a permit or
No,
anything?
you do not need a permit for any of this, nope.
Okay, that's fine. I'll be there.
Put a sign on your forehead, say no to Rome, solar panel. Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made second? Made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we are adjourned.
And Denise, I will send you those, I mean, I know those are the two